Well, good morning. Hey, we've made it. We've made it to Friday. We're on the verge of another weekend, and anyway, of course, this is September the 9th, and certainly hope and pray that you're doing well this morning. I hope that God has given you a good night's rest, and now ready to get on with this Friday and then on to the weekend. This morning, I want to share with you a devotional entitled "Character Over Charisma." Let's face it, there are people, who cheat. They lie and they steal, and they cut corners, and yet, a lot of times it seems that they're able to get away with it. And maybe at some point in time, maybe you've thought, well, why shouldn't I do that? Why should I play by the rules? Well, I want to tell you why we need to play by the rules. You see, in the end, those people, they will reap, what they sow. The Bible tells us in Galatians chapter 6, verse 7, listen to what Paul wrote. He said, "Do not be deceived. God is not mocked. For whatever a man sows, that he will also reap." The longer I live, the more impressed I am with character over charisma. I truly am. Listen, I've seen a lot of preachers, with dynamic personalities. Simply flame out because they didn't seek to maintain, honesty and integrity. And the psalmist wrote David, he wrote the following in Psalm 101, verse 2. He said, "I will be careful to live a blameless life. When will you come to help me? I will lead a life of integrity in my home." And then in Psalm 119, verse 1, we read there, it says, "Joyful are people of integrity who follow the instructions of the Lord." The great evangelist D.L. Moody once said the following. He said, "If I take care of my character, my reputation will take care of itself." And I truly believe that. Listen, in the Old Testament, we read about Daniel in the book of Daniel. Of course, he was a man of integrity. Someone who, he always sought to do the right thing by what God instructed him to do. On one occasion, it caused his arrest, though. After the king, he signed this decree that, no one could pray to any god. Of course, is that the instructions of some of his advisors, because they didn't like Daniel. And they could pray only to him. He'd made that decree. Well, what did Daniel do? He prayed to God anyway. He did what he always did every day. And his enemies had him arrested and then thrown into a lion's den. Man, you talking about a bleak scenario. Not just being thrown in jail or anything, but he was thrown into a lion's den. But how did the story end? Well, in the end, his enemies, they ended up being eaten by lions. And Daniel, he lived to pray another day. God took care of him. And, the same thing happened, to Joseph, whose story we find, of course, in the book of Genesis. Joseph is one of my favorite characters in the Bible. Joseph, he lived a life, he lived his life with honesty and integrity. And although, Potiphar's wife, she falsely accused him of rape, and, in the end, he was thrown into the prison. He received vindication in the end. Here's the deal. If you live with honesty and integrity, you too will be vindicated in the end. And I think sometimes we don't realize, God's timing is God's timing. It might be that we may not be vindicated here on this earth, but in the end we are, because we get to go live with Jesus, as believers in Jesus Christ. And so we need to remember that character is so much more important than charisma, because God God loves us so much that He, if we're living a life of integrity, doing the right things, God's going to take care of us. And we don't have to worry about any of these other things. Kind of like D.L. Moody said, if I take care of my character, my reputation will take care of itself. And it will. And so I hope that encourages you here on this Friday. Hope you have a wonderful day. Remember, as always, I tell you on Friday, if you don't have a place to worship and maybe you're close to Hydro on Sunday morning, come worship with us at Hydro First Baptist Church. We'd love to see you, and we'd love to have you come visit us. But anyway, remember, Angie and I, we love you guys, and we're praying for you. And Lord willing, I'll see you soon. God bless you.